some big breaking updates coming in right now, viewers. A NEET hearing begins in the Supreme Court. That is right. Remember that the hearing has now begun. And this is coming in as the Apex Court has been hearing multiple petitions for the past few weeks on the NEET scam. In fact, today itself, the Supreme Court has started hearing around 40 petitions alleging irregularities and malpractices in the conduct of the medical entrance exam, NEET UG 2024. And we are seeing that the CJI is making it clear that there should be re-examination if the sanctity of exam was lost on a large scale. So these are some of the observations coming in from the Apex Court. A lot of petitioners, they want a re-examination to be held. So the CJI is saying we need a strong reason if re-examination has to be held of NEET. That's a big update coming in on Republic TV. And this is coming in as we're getting you live updates on this story. Now, the NTA is also telling the Supreme Court that 131 students who are not within 108,000 students want a retest. So this is the reply of the NTA to the CJI. The CJI has asked how many students will be affected if a re-examination is ordered. All this is hearing as we speak. Supreme Court is hearing the re-examination plea. The NTA is also replying back to the CJI as the CJI is asking NTA on specifics of this scam. So the CJI making it very clear, re-examination should only be ordered if the sanctity of the entire exam is lost. CJI Chandrachud saying that that this re-examination should be ordered on the firm footing that the sanctity of the entire exam is lost. Suesha is joining us live. Suesha, you know, the CJI is asking some questions to the NTA. NTA is replying back. Take us to the observations which are coming in as we speak, Suesha.
Yes, absolutely, Shivangi, as these are the latest updates that are just coming in from the top court as far as the re-exam, the re-exam angle of NEET is concerned. Now, while the NTA was pulled up and most importantly discrepancies that came to light in the way NEET was conducted, NTA had always been pushing for the fact that there should be a re-exam. But that is where the CJI makes it amply clear that a re-exam only comes into the picture when we know that the system that will conduct the exam is intact. So those are the strong words coming in from the top court. In fact, I will just take you through some of the arguments that are being made as we also put out these details where the petitioner had said that there is a conflict of interest since IIT Madras director is a member of the governing body of NTA. And why this is important is because IIT Madras had submitted that report where the SG had said that that is factually wrong. Somebody else was. However, Huda had gone on to say that the IIT Madras report cannot be relied upon. CJI also saying that according to you, it has to be done on the restrictive figure of 108,000. Now, that is not a small number, Shivangi. And to also understand that to conduct this exam yet again and also ensuring that there is no loophole, no discrepancy in the system. This at a time when not just the investigation that continues, several arrests have been made, but the fact is that the nexus is much bigger than one can imagine. And to actually fix every gap, every loophole, and then say that we will conduct a foolproof re-exam is a tough commitment to make, and that is where the top court makes it amply clear that only when you can assure that this is the case, then only talk of a re-exam. In fact, Huda has said that IIT Madras analytics based on 23 lakh students' performance is not reliable and that the analytics should have been done on the basis of 108,000 candidates who would get admissions. Huda went on to add that if data analytics is to be run for 23 lakhs, then at what stage 10,000 or 20,000 people have sneaked in? And that cannot detect the abnormality. But let me also tell you that the CJI asked this question as to saying what is the cutoff mark for 56,000 government seats and the 108,000. CJI also asked that question, that what is the minimum mark received by the petitioners. In fact, CJI went on to question the NTA council saying that tell us how many students are involved in the petitioner. That's when senior advocate Haygrave also went on to add that some who are within the 1,08,000 and are also before the court since they want government seats. CJI also went on to question that we would like to know out of 1,08,000 how many are petitioners before us. So the top court really going into the nitty-gritties of every petition that had been filed with regards to discrepancies in NEET, and here they ask that in those petitions filed, how many of them are the students who had appeared for the NEET undergraduate exam. But this, as the council continues to push for a re-exam, CJI making it amply clear that that can only be on the condition when you can provide a foolproof system to ensure that there are no leaks this time around, and that will be a tough one to commit to, Shivangi.
Right. Well, Suesha, we're getting these live updates coming in, and you're taking us through all the live updates. Now, the petitioners are also putting out their points. Now, the petitioners are being represented by Huda. Huda is pointing to the CBI status report. They are saying, Huda is telling the CJI that the CBI status report on the scam should be released to all the petitioners. The CJI is saying that that will scuttle the investigation. Now, all this is happening, that the petitioners they really want a re-examination. And just take us through, Suesha, about this entire scam in the past few weeks and what the latest observations are coming in, because the CJI is saying we need a proper reason for re-examination.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Now, let's understand, Shivangi, that we have covered the investigation through its length and breadth and where it stands so far. Several arrests have been made, and the sad part of it is that these are not just intermediaries who were facilitating that paper leak or were a part of the corruption of the NEET exam, but teachers, principals themselves and parents who were party to this paper leak, who were paying up to these intermediaries, to these teachers, to those middlemen, to have the paper leaked to their children, students themselves who are a part of getting the access to the question paper and then answering the NEET exam the next day. So, like I said, that this is the nexus one much bigger than what one can imagine, and this is a multi-state nexus. So, this is not just restricted to Bihar, where of course happened to be the vantage point where a lot of these details came out, but also across Maharashtra, also across other states of how the question paper was leaked. And in order to join all the dots, now the CBI is investigating the matter. Like I said, several arrests have been made. Important accused in this case who are being questioned by the investigative agency. And even as they continue with it, but the future of the students is now, at stake. And that is the whole reason that a whole year gets spoilt. So whether there should be a re-exam, how will the re-exam be conducted, and that is something that the Supreme Court has to give the nod for. And let's understand, Shivangi, that this is not just restricted to NEET. In fact, so many other public service exams where these kind of discrepancies have come to light. So the larger blot on conducting exams at the national level is certainly under question, and this precarious detail, especially with regards to how the top court is inspecting every angle, is what they are asking the NTA Council, that when you talk of a re-exam, because there is also a possibility that right now the NTA is, trying to cover up on its mistakes and to also say that we'll hold a re-exam since the students are not convinced. But it is important to get to the bottom of the matter, and that is exactly what the top court is doing as a part of this hearing that continues.
Right, Suesha. Well, Suesha, we are still waiting for our colleague Riyanka to join us live from the ground, and she will take us through all the other details. But you were speaking about the petitioners are saying that the NTA is perhaps not 100% truthful. So they want the CBI status report to be out. And they're also saying that there was one more report. This is a report on in fact, this is a report on the NEET UG, on the students. Now, they're saying there's an IIT-M data analytics report, which the NTA relied on. You were speaking about this, and they're saying that the petitioners are saying that this report, the director, is a member of the NTA. So they're not really happy with the kind of reports the NTA is putting forward in front of the Apex Court.
Vangi, now let's quickly remind our viewers that during the hearing that was held on the 8th of July, the bench led by CJI DY Chandrachud had sought the responses of NTA on the extent of paper leak and the possible segregation of wrongdoers from others. The court had also said that if the sanctity of the entire exam is affected, then it was impossible to separate the beneficiaries of the fraud from the honest candidates, and then a retest may be necessary. The court also said that the retest would be the last option, considering the impact is on nearly 24 lakh students. Now, the IIT Madras angle that you particularly mentioned, as the central government and National Testing Agency have opposed the demand for a retest by stating that the malpractices are localized and have not affected the sanctity of the entire system. The centre cited a data analytics report that has been prepared by IIT Madras to argue that there was no systemic failure, as the report did not indicate any mass malpractice. But like you rightly said, Shivangi, that there needs to be a very solid reason for the re-exam to be conducted, and most importantly the fact that the probing team that led to making this report by IIT Madras is the person who is also a part of the NTA. So there again, the credibility of this report is certainly under question. Also, a bench comprising of Chief Justice of India DY Chandrachud, Justices J.B. Pardiwala and Manoj Mishra, who are hearing the matter. So far, these are the latest details coming in of the arguments that are being made on both sides, and CJI of course questioning that out of 1,08,000 students, how many of them are petitioners, and the NTA of course saying that we can't answer that at this point, but CJI getting into details, telling the NTA that a re-exam cannot be conducted unless and until there is a solid reason to do so.
Right. I just want to go straight across to my colleague. Riyanka is joining us from the ground. Riyanka, if you can hear me. And Swesha is also speaking about the numbers. Let's talk about the numbers. So the senior counsel is saying that 1,08,000 candidates got seats. 22 lakh students did not get the seats. So re-examination will only affect 1,08,000 students.